All right, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, a nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, it's always nice to be at Sherman, and today is no exception. Beautiful crowd. Great job with the PTO over here. It's fantastic, and I have to give a shout out real quick to my 4 friends, John, Will, Tommy, and Evan. If anybody wants the best hot cocoa you're ever gonna get, go see those guys, okay? All right. So moving along, Michelle, do we have any agenda changes this evening?
I've had a few changes since Friday when I first posted the agenda. Items for board action, we did add R, the approval of a K-12 principal appointment. S, the approval of a K-12 assistant principal appointment. T, the approval of a separation agreement. And the board members do have an updated personnel report to review that tonight as well with highlighted changes.
Very good, thank you. Is anyone here wishing to address the board on agenda related public comments? Okay. Michelle, do we have any communications?
I do not.
All right, then it is my distinct honor to turn it over to Mrs. Gretchen Monnet, who is the principal here at Sherman, for her presentation.
Thank you. I'm hoping everybody at home can hear this. I don't usually talk in a mic. Thank you, everybody, for coming to Sherman, and thank you to our wonderful PTA for all of this. And you do have little gift bags from our PTA as well. Everybody should have one up there. Our Watertown mission statement is that Watertown City School District is committed to building a caring culture that fosters lifelong learners and responsible citizens. And we kind of narrow that down to an elementary level when we say our Sherman pledge every day. We, the Sherman Sharks, pledge to be safe, helpful, a friend to everyone, responsible, and kind to others. And we try to live by that each day. We have some strategic plan goals: increasing the graduation rate, increase meaningful student engagement, improving overall student attendance, enhancing behavioral supports for students, and enhancing infrastructure. Kind of highlighting number 2 and number 3 for tonight. Our PTA has done a lot already for us. They've done a fall fest. They're purchasing a Sherman shirt for every student in the building, and this is what it is. They will be getting this week. It's so cute. Very cute. So thank you to our PTA for being able to do that for all of our students. They sponsored a book fair. They helped with Mrs. Davidson's holiday workshop that she does. And they've done meals for the staff this week from Ricardo's. They've done holiday treats. We are being treated to manis and petties and hand treatments tomorrow and Thursday. So they go all out for us, and I know there's more things coming up in the spring. PBIS has been hard at work this year, engaging students. Obviously, PTA has events that brings the students in, but the Fall Fest was a big one this year. The Boosterthon fundraiser was huge, and that's something that the school does to raise money for our PTA so they can do these wonderful things. We have some assemblies, and we were able to bring parents back for those this year, and I've received many messages that they're very appreciative of that. Sponsoring luncheons for staff, PBIS. We had pizza this week. We've done other luncheons, and there's more coming. And promoting positive behavior, always, that's the goal. Extracurricularly, here at Sherman, we have 17 students. Well, it'll be 18 in January. participating in our tutoring program, 14 students participating in STEAM. We have numerous PD opportunities that my staff takes regularly. PBIS and MTSS is always very busy with lots of meetings, and we have SAC here after school as well. My coach, my instructional coach is providing support in the classrooms, especially with some new things that we've taken on this year. Providing PD during teacher planning period so that we're not asking them to come in extra if it's very difficult sometimes for teachers to be able to do that. PD after school for those that are able. Support during common planning time in the mornings. They have time to meet just for a little bit and they can ask questions. And weekly meetings with me just to see how things are going. Some new curriculum and pilots happening here at Sherman. Eureka Math Squared is a pilot. We have one teacher in every grade level trying that out this year, with the exception of fourth grade. It was a small enough grade level that we're able to have all three of our teachers do that. And so far the feedback has been very positive. U-Fly is happening in all grades and spring math is happening in all grades. And I will say that the data that's being collected is showing to be very positive. And I had one teacher today tell me in a conference that the two things that she looks most forward to are U-Fly and teaching the 6-step lesson plan. She thinks those are the two most successful things that she does in a day. So that was very promising. Our Sherman attendance, I think our attendance is great. September overall was 94.52%. And the highest was from grade 1 with 94.56%. October overall was 92.8, and the highest was from grade 4 at 95. November's was 93.1, and the highest was from grade 3 at 94. And as of when I did this in December, it was currently at 93%. And I think with all of the sickness and everything that's been going around, that's pretty excellent. So kudos to my teachers for working hard to keep kids coming every day. And I would like to invite my students up here. They're the ones that we want to hear from. If I could have Curtis and Genesis and Declan, Cadence make it in. Come on up. Come on. All right, we're gonna have Curtis go first. How does that sound?
Hi, my name is Curtis Dunn. Sherman is a great school to learn. I like spring math the best. I try to beat my score every day. My teacher is great because she makes learning fun. First grade is the best. Hi, my name is Declan. What I like about Sherman is that they have very nice teachers. They plan field trips for us. The activities they do are fun. I like the carnivals. Sherman is the best school I could ever go to. This is Genesis. I am in first grade, and this is Joseph's class. My favorite things I love about Sherman are my teacher is the best. I love my friends. I love Dr. O's during science. She's funny. Hello, my name is Cadence. I am in Miss Leverker's fourth grade class. I love Sherman because I feel like my teacher make me feel good. I feel more confident on math and I feel like I can be myself and feel welcome
at Sherman. I like our celebrations like the Halloween parade and the PBIS assemblies.
Hello, my name is Roman. I am in Miss Leviker's fourth grade class. I love Sherman because the teachers are so kind and awesome. For example, Miss Ramey is always calm. Miss Ost would always make me happy when I was sad. Miss Leviker, on the first day of school, she was confident that her class was going to be so awesome, and that made me feel welcome. I like the celebrations like the Halloween parade and the PBIS assembly. My name is Elizabeth. I am in Mrs. Leviker's fourth grade class. I love my school, Sherman Elementary, because it's full of people who care for other people and are very wonderful. Also, the teachers are very kind. I love the teachers here, and I like Coach Cole and Coach Al. They are amazing. Mrs. Leviker is my current teacher this year. She rocks, and I love her. Mr. Mike is a very nice guy. He cleans the playground area by picking up trash. He is funny too. I love all of our celebrations and traditions. They're really fun.
Great job to my Sherman students. Thank you.
Can you guys walk?
Yep.
Yep. Excuse me. Yes, he does.
You guys okay if I take a picture? No one is on the witness protection program, right? Your principal jumping. Okay. Promise me you're gonna smile unless you're allergic to cheese. Thank you, everyone. Congratulations.
Question, is this fourth grade teacher here today?
She is.
Where is she?
The black coat. Right there.
You the fourth grade teacher?
Vanessa.
Good evening, everybody. I'm not sure this is on yet. Can you hear me? Mike's gonna get me set up. I have paper, so I needed to be hands-free. I'm going to talk to you about our assessment scores from the 2024 assessments. My name is Lynn Gaffney. I'm the Assistant Superintendent for Instruction. I'll give you a preview while it's getting set up. And I can do a loud voice. I was a teacher for many years. So we're here to review the state assessment data. And we're also here to talk about steps being taken to support improvement in critical areas. Thank you, Mr. Shanley. For people that don't know Mr. Shanley, he helps us with literally everything. You can be at a musical, you can be at a board meeting, and you'll see Mr. Shanley working in the background, making sure everything runs smoothly. How's my volume now?
Thanks.
Good? It's at home, but not here. Okay,
Sorry.
here we go. All right, so tonight I'm gonna go over the ELA and math assessment results, the grade 5 and 8 science assessment results, and the Regents exam results. And we're going to start by defining proficiency. You're gonna hear me talking about proficiency and percent proficiency. So I just want to define that for everybody so you know what that means. A little bit long, it's wordy, it's from the state. But proficient signifies students' mastery of subject content and skills at their grade level, demonstrating a strong understanding and meeting or exceeding grade level standards.
In essence, they have effectively acquired the necessary knowledge and skills. So when you hear proficiency, that's what we're looking for. On a state test, that generally will mean a 3 or a 4, or a 3, 4, or 5 at the Regents level. Okay, so we're going to jump right into ELA results. Take a look at the 3 through 8. Our results demonstrate that the work we are currently doing around structured literacy is very needed. So you're going to see that we do have some challenges, but we do have a very good plan in place. And our teachers and students are working really hard to address the needs that you're going to see tonight. So ELA last year, and what I did is a kind of a pre and post COVID. So I wanted everybody to be able to see what was going on prior to COVID in 2020. And you can see there's no testing data for that year because we did not have the state test. So there's 2019 and then you have 21 through 2024. And that'll be pretty much the same for all of the results that I share with you tonight. So we did have a slight decrease, and just to draw your attention to the colors there, if you're looking at the lighter lavender, that's going to be proficiency in New York State, so across the entire state. And then when you're looking at the darker purple, you're going to see proficiency in Watertown City School District. So this would be across all of our schools, all of our third grades. So we did have a slight dip in proficiency from 24%, thank you, Dr. S, to 23% last year. Grade 4, we also saw a drop, and actually I'm going to say quite honestly, we saw a drop in all of our proficiencies in ELA, which again underscores the district's commitment to structured literacy and the things that we are putting into place that I will share with you tonight. Mrs. Monnet mentioned some of them before. And there's grade 5. So grade 5, we actually did a little bit of an uptick. We went from 26%, you can see at the bottom last year, proficiency, to 27%. There's grade 6, and in grade 6, we went from 31% proficiency last year to 24%. And you can see in the years post-COVID, we have really declined pretty sharply at this level. Grade 7, we're looking at a decline from 23 to 24, from 28% proficiency to 21% proficiency. And then finally, for grade 8, ELA assessment results, we're going from a 36% proficiency in 2023 to a 32% proficiency. One of the things I want to share with you is that the teachers are working very hard with instructional coaches and principals to look at this data and mine the reasons why. Why are our kids not performing at a rate that is higher than this? We want to see much higher than this. We know the trajectories for students that don't learn how to read and write properly, and Watertown is very committed to making sure that we have a large percentage of students that are able to do just that. Some trends that we did see in ELA when we were looking at the results and analyzing them from grades 3 to 8 are difficulties with informational texts, some challenges with vocabulary, as well as finding the main idea. So those are things we'll be focusing on moving forward. Next, we'll examine our 3 through 8 math assessment results. So this year's results actually show improvement from last year's results at many grade levels. So you're going to see an uptick. And again, to orient your eyes to the colors here, the darker green that you see would be the state proficiency across the state in a given grade. And then the lighter green is Watertown City School District's proficiency. So as you can see, after COVID, and this is true across the state, right? We're going to see that scores went down. Last year, 2023, we had 22% proficiency, and we were able to raise that to 27% proficiency in the 2024 testing year. Grade 4, we were also able to show an increase, demonstrate an increase in those skills. So we went from 35% last year to 43% this year. And then grade 5, we also had an increase. We went from 28% last year to 33% this year. 26 no, not 26, 27 to 28 on sixth grade math. So we did see a little bit of an improvement there. And then for grade 7, we did dip down a little bit, just a little bit. We went from 38% proficiency to 37%. Finally, in grade 8, we went from 29% to 22%. And again, I like to look at trends. So teachers will be looking at this if they haven't already. Our coaches, our principals look at this. One of the things that really stuck out to me when I was analyzing the results is the difficulties with algebraic skills. And we're going to talk about that and how the district is addressing it tonight. Okay, so in grade 8, we do have a group of students every year that take the algebra course and the Regents exams at the end of the year. And as you can see, they are scoring 100% proficiency every year. So we're really pleased with that. Switch over to science now. Okay, so science, this graph's going to look a little strange because New York State, as many of you know, has switched from a 4th grade science test to a 5th grade science test. That's why in 2023, you don't see any test at all, because that was a year where we were switching over. And so 2024 is really the only data we have for 5th grade. And we can see that Watertown had a 26% proficiency rate in 5th grade for the first time going through. These are our 8th grade state assessment results for science. And we went from a 41% proficiency to a 26% proficiency in 8th grade science. Keep in mind too, when we're talking about some of these, like the algebra scores, those students that took 8th grade algebra would not be included in our 8th grade math testing. So that's sometimes why you see lower proficiencies when some of the kids have been taken out. We don't necessarily double test them. We also have a group of students, many of the same ones that are taking algebra, that are accelerated and take our living environment course and Regents in the 8th grade. And so last year we had 100% proficiency, up from 97 the year before on the living environment Regents. So we're going to head into our high school assessment results right now. We're going to be talking about Regents exams. The lion's share of the Regents exams are really taken in June, with the exception of our ELA. We do have some kids that take it in June, but most of our students take it in the January Regents. So we'll be doing that actually very soon. So 87% of our students demonstrated proficiency on this January of 2024 Regents exam. This is Algebra 1. That's actually the first year the new Regents was given in 2024. So we are comparing slightly different versions of the course in the Regents. But we did see that we had just about the same proficiency. We had 53% from 2023 as well as 2024. Our geometry Regents results remain stable from last year. So they read at 74% for both 2023 and 2024. And there's Algebra 2, and we had actually a really nice jump in Algebra 2. As you can see, in 2023, our proficiency was 75%, and in 2024, it was at 98%. Global history and geography. Our proficiency came in at 66% this year, so it was a little bit lower than last year's 70%. And then we have US history and government results, and we're at 42%. So we did drop down quite a bit from 84%. The year before. I did look, we've been examining the data, and that's a really important aspect of any school improvement effort that you're trying to make. We did see some of the pieces that kids struggled with on this were causes and effects, some issues with globalization, human rights, and global conflict. So we'll be addressing those as well moving forward. There's living environment. Living environment did see a decrease from 2023 to 24, going from 70% to 59% proficiency. Our earth science results increased from a 68 proficiency percentage in 2023 to 70% in 2024. There's chemistry, and chemistry also increased from 66% to 73% proficiency. And then finally, we have physics, which decreased from an 88% proficiency in 2023 to a 76% proficiency in 2024. What I saw when I was analyzing the science regions, I was actually a science teacher for many years, is that the missed questions were really all over. There wasn't a lot of trending. So that's going to take a little bit more of a dig for those teachers to look into the data and see what's going on with that. Okay, so now our plans to move the district forward have already been in place for the last year and a half. And I want to go over some of these key actions with you because I want the message tonight to be one of hope and one of empowerment, because we have a group of administrators, teachers, and students that are working very hard to make sure our students have all the proficiency they need in every subject. So they fall into three buckets, the main things that we're working on, the key areas or critical areas. The first one's reading. And so, as I said earlier, we're doing something called structured literacy. That may be different than what you've heard before. Many districts were using something called balanced literacy, and there were remnants of that here in Watertown when I was hired a year and a half ago. Structured literacy is evidence-based, and it's shown to be very, very effective. And I'm going to talk about some pieces of that and what our teachers are doing moving forward to make sure our students are proficient readers. One thing we've done is we've had many trainings with the reading league. So this weekend I was kind of thinking about how much training we've had. And sometimes I actually get grief from the district office because there's no parking up there because we have so many people coming up for training. Or from the people who can't find a spot. So I wanted to add it up. I'm like, how many hours have we done in the last year and a half on PD? So PD altogether with these three buckets of reading, math, and instruction, we've done 156,987 hours in the last year and a half. Of that, 92,000 has been reading. Math has been 35,000 and instruction has been 856,000. So I want you to know that when we see scores that are not where they should be, we are addressing it very assertively. And that's the teachers that are working really hard to make sure that they're getting this information and getting the training. Okay, so what else? We did a K-4 curriculum audit. And one of the things that when you start in a new position, people line up at your door and they say to you, hey, did you know this might need to be changed? And that was no exception when I started. So one of the things the teachers pointed out is that we did not have a strong word recognition program available to our students. And so that's where UFly came in. Board members, I think you were able to see UFly in action at Ohio when we had the soundboards out with Jen Knapp. That's been very successful. And we'll often hear from both our teachers and our students how successful they feel doing UFly. That's going to buoy up or raise up our reading scores because students are going to be able to decode, right? Without the decoding piece, the alphabet pretty much just looks like a bunch of squiggles or lines. UFly makes that doable and decodable for them. The science of reading trainings I've mentioned to a degree. We've had the reading league here many times. They've actually come into the buildings as well. We're also sending over 20 teachers to be trained on something called letters, and that's also the science of reading or structured literacy. We've also reinstituted something called CAP teams. And so I think maybe 10, 12 years ago, maybe some of the people in the room can give me the exact timing. There was something in place for many years at Watertown called the curriculum alignment process. And those were teams of teachers that worked on the curriculum and made sure that everything was aligned. If you were a new teacher, you got a binder with everything that you should be teaching. And those have kind of fallen by the wayside, and the teachers had asked for those to be reinstituted. So we so far have reinstituted those with math and ELA, and we are looking to do the same with both science and social studies. Is there anything else with reading? I think I hit on everything with reading. Okay, math. We have something called spring math. We actually heard some of the students reference it tonight, and I actually have two teachers and a few students that are going to talk to you about spring math tonight. You saw U Fly in action, and I thought you might want to understand a little bit better on how spring math works, but it's a K-8 algebra readiness initiative. So one of the things I mentioned to you when I was looking at scores is that the students were struggling with some of the algebraic pieces on that. This is an initiative where everybody gets math every day. They try to beat their own scores. I don't want to steal any thunder from Mrs. Johnson and Mrs. O'Brien and their students. But this is going to be a game changer for our students in the district. Also mentioned by Mrs. Monnet is Eureka Math. So we have 30 teachers in the district that are piloting Eureka Math. That is a program that's K-5, and we're hearing really good feedback on it. We've been actually using the New York State modules for a number of years, and a lot of teachers felt like those were not updated and we really needed to look at something new. So we responded by getting Eureka Math here, and more to come on that, but I think we're probably looking to adopt it for the district at some point. I mentioned the CAP teams. I mentioned the algebra readiness and how important that is. I also want to address that at the high school level, we reorganized our algebra courses. And so now, instead of students going into pre-algebra or algebra, we have other courses, fundamentals and principles of algebra, where they may get 2 extra periods or 1 extra period every other day, and they can get the practice that they need. So a lot of these things, even with reading and math, to get the fundamentals down, require practice. And sometimes, we understand very well when it comes to sports, when it comes to music, that people need practice, but we also want to be mindful of that when we're planning instructional activities, that students need lots of practice to get good at these things. Finally, I want to talk about instruction, which is my love. I could talk about that all night. One of the things I learned when I got here is that many teachers had previously gone to a 5-day effective teaching course. And that had been instituted, I think, in the 90s. There are 2 people that come from Syracuse. They do this 5-day course, and it just sets you on the path to success. I'm just going to have people raise their hand if they've taken that course. Just look around the room. Yeah. And so if you ask people, what was the best course you ever took to prepare you to feel competent in the classroom, most people will tell you effective teaching. For whatever the reasons, that kind of just fell off in Watertown over the last few years. And we've been able to reinstitute that. They were here this summer, the 2 trainers doing training for a whole group, and we're sending people to BOCES as well for that. The other big passion I have is the science of learning or science of instruction. So in the past, teachers maybe didn't have access to research or evidence and to align their practices with the evidence. That is not true anymore. We know the practices in classrooms that work. And so my mission for the last 1.5 years is to get that information to teachers, help them build their toolbox. And I think the teachers and the principals will tell you, because the principals have been on the receiving end of the training as well. It's very empowering to know what research actually works in the classroom and be able to pull that into your teaching when needed. Finally, I just want to say the instructional coaching, Mrs. Monnet mentioned that. We redid our instructional coaching program. We were able to add coaches, and they have been pivotal in our success and our ability to get these programs in place.
Lynn, I just, for that piece, I know you said it briefly, but we added coaches this year to make sure that buildings had coaches.
Yes.
And then you could speak about MTSS RTI and the effort that's gone into that this year to help.
Absolutely. So we have somebody in the back with a red sweater on, Dr. Amy Gerhardt, if you just raise your hand. Because I don't want to take credit for work that she's done. I'm certainly a supporting role. But one of the things that's really important for a district to have in place is a MTSS. So it's multi-tiered systems of support. And what that means is we're looking specifically at each child and exactly what they need for support. For instance, if a child is struggling, maybe it's an attendance issue, maybe it's a reading issue. We don't want to address that with an intervention that's one size fits all. So a really strong, robust MTSS system is very important to make sure we're matching the intervention to whatever's needed for that child. That's going on in every building. Do you want to say more, Dr.?
I just wanted to add to for Case Middle School specifically, for that building, we added an entire team of teachers to really maximize that MTSS RTI framework
Yes.
in the intervention block.
So as I mentioned before, you've seen, you fly. I wanted you to be able to see spring math. So I'm going to invite Mrs. Johnson and Mrs. O'Brien and their students up to talk about spring math.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mandy Johnson. I teach fifth grade at Wiley with my teammate Karen O'Brien. And we're here to talk about spring math, just to give everybody a little background, and then we'll turn it over to the real experts. Spring math is an intervention program designed to help students develop a strong foundation in math through a comprehensive assessment and intervention approach. It uses paired learning to lift all students and build mastery and mathematical confidence. And we did have more to say. However, our students actually kind of came together and came up with pretty much what we were going to say. So this is Evangeline Wright, Amelia Baker, and Greta Swartz. And I'm going to let Evie start it off.
Hi, I'm Evangeline Wright. I am in Mrs. O'Brien's fifth grade class. This year, spring math has helped me improve my math fluency and help me complete my work faster. When you are doing a spring math worksheet, you complete the problems 2 times. The first time you do it, you get 3 minutes and you work with a partner to finish both your worksheets. Then the second time you are given 2 minutes to complete the same problems on your own. Working with a partner gives us both more confidence in our answers and a chance to work through the problems together. If you are having trouble, they can help you see what is wrong. I think my peers and I have grown a lot this year in math. We have gone from skill to skill, and we have already made it to division. We have all worked so hard in spring math. It is fun for me. And I hope it is fun for everyone else as well. I just want to thank Mrs. O'Brien, Mrs. Johnson, my old teacher, Mrs. Page, all my past teachers and everyone here. Thank you for all you do, all and how hard you all work. Thank you. Hi, my name is Amelia Baker. I'm in fifth grade. Some things that I like about spring math is that we have 2 minutes for the second time and 3 minutes for the first time. For the first time, you work with a partner and you complete as many problems as you can. If you finish the first paper, you get to complete as many more on another paper as you can. When the time's up, you pass the paper to your partner and your partner finishes the paper. The second time is basically a sprint. You have 2 minutes and you get to do as many problems as you can. If you finish the paper, good job, you completed it, but you can't do another paper. And thank you. Hi, I'm Greta Swartz, and a few things I like about spring math are that the first thing is that when you work with a partner, you can learn off each other by their strategies and way they do the problems. The second thing I like about it is that you get two tries in the beginning before you do the real sprint, so it helps you practice and get better before you do the real thing. Thank you.
All of our students love spring math, and one thing they get to do, it's generated for them. They get to keep their own growth scores. So they they think about, okay, this is what I got this time. This is how I want to improve next time. And when we get the confetti, what do? We celebrate, don't we? Yes. So it's just, they absolutely love it. It's 15 minutes, sometimes a little bit longer, but it's just, we do it every single day, and it's the highlight of my day. It's the highlight of your day. Absolutely. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Paul.
Push it down.
Good, Paul.
I just.
There we go.
I do have a
Do you
question.
guys have any questions for us?
I do.
Yes.
Is it a computer program or are they handout?
Paper and handout, yeah.
Paper and
The
pen.
computer generates, based on the scores, previous, a partner for them. So you'll have a worker and a helper. So the first person will work and the helper, will watch over the worker. And if they notice, that partner notices an error, they'll say, wait, stop, you made a mistake, find your mistake. And they're talking through the whole thing. And they're helping each other. And then after 3 minutes, the worker becomes the helper becomes the worker. And then at the end of that 3 minutes, they get their own sheet and they have 2 minutes to complete. So what we do, what Karen and I do is, sometimes we try to beat each other, like class. Like competition, yes. But we'll put, so it's the median score, so they'll say the goal is a 20. And so we'll put, spring math 20, and then we'll put what we got that week. And then, of course, the confetti is always a big deal at the end, and the kids love to see their growth, they get so excited. And it is, we call it sprints, it's your addition, subtraction, multiplication, facts, things that they need to be able to do division and simplify fractions or anything like that along the way.
The one thing that's great about it is that when they didn't get as high as they wanted to, they said, can we have extra things to work on that?
Yes.
So you've all asked for that, so I'm like, absolutely, so, yeah.
Is this differentiated to the student and where they're at, or all this, the whole class? Okay,
But the whole class has to hit a median score
gotcha.
before we move on to the next step.
I mean, we know as educators that the number one thing you can do to learn something is to teach it to somebody else. So I love that
Yep,
philosophy.
and we've actually almost been using that instead of helpers, we've been using, or worker like teach, and that's why they say 5 times 2 is 3, or, bring down the 1 when they're doing anything like that, or drop the decimal, they're saying it out loud to each other. Absolutely.
And there are boosts they can do when someone is proficient, they get the maximum score for 3 times in a row. We do have boosts for them, so with extra activity they can do.
Again, after listening to your students, I can tell you I was never that excited to discuss math. So
I promise we didn't write any of that, we didn't know what they were going to say, they're just that.
I just wanted to say that that clearly reflects both of you and the important work that you're doing and having, making sure the kids have fun. So kudos to you and thank you again.
Thanks. I think you should know Amelia got voted vice president of 5th grade. Yes.
Hey. I think that we kind of skipped around on the board and staff reports. So I'm gonna turn it over to Lori Converse.
Did I skip you, Lori? I'm sorry.
You were so eager.
Mike told me the mic's going to you after Christmas. I apologize.
Mike. Darn it. Now, anyway, the moment everyone's been waiting for, the policy committee meeting report.
All right. So tonight we discussed, as I mentioned, 2 weeks ago, I was not here for the reconsideration policy, so we just caught up on that. We also talked about, adding 2 alternates on each side, in case people are not there, so then we don't have to, if there's something that needs to be reconsidered, we're not putting it on hold. So we're going to get that added, put it back up in a couple weeks. We also discussed the policy on foreign exchange students. We haven't talked about that in a couple of years, and if we want to just keep it with 5 students because it does cost extra if we add more than that many students. So we did discuss that. And right now, we're just gonna leave it as is. There was a lady that was reaching out asking for about 30 students to be added, so that would be a huge cost to the district. Then we spoke about, there's a new law about extreme temperatures that is coming that Governor Hochul had voted on September 1st, 2025, which is something we're gonna have to discuss at length as a board because we have to worry about extreme temperatures, and if there's extreme temperatures, they have to go to school. So we just started to discuss what we have to do for that. we also discussed our student council or our non-voting student that we're gonna be adding to the board. They are already working on that. Student, it's going to be either a student council member or a National Honor Society student. They're gonna be nominated by their peers. And they will be interviewed by Dr. Smeagol and the high school principal. So that will be coming in the spring for next year. That's all I got.
Very cool. Thank you very much. Finally, turn it over to Dr. Schmiegel for the superintendent of schools report.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank everyone. Jason had the idea, Jason had the idea that we marched in the City of Watertown Christmas Parade. And it was a very cold evening. But our students were excited, and to watch the kids marching, running, hopping, skipping, singing in the parade was an absolutely wonderful, heartwarming experience. I think the only one on my team that had heat was Lynn. Made sure the gloves were heated, the vest and the pants. I learned for next year. But I want to thank, it was something that we joined forces with the Watertown Education Association. So I want to thank them for letting us join them in that, and all of the hard work that went into that. We had many teachers that met multiple days to get a plan together to allow our kids to participate. And we had nearly 100 kids that participated from Wiley, Case, and the high school. So I just want to give all of them a wonderful round of applause to bring some excitement for them. The next thing that I want to mention, because it was mentioned at the last board meeting, so just a continuation here, is we are going to be looking to extend the RFP for transportation. Given the holiday season and schools being closed, we needed a little bit more time to answer some questions. So Bree's department's going to be working on that. That date is going to be January 10th. And what we look at doing is notifying our current vendors that we know may be interested, but we will also be making a public notification in the Watertown Daily Times to extend that date to January 10th. So stay tuned for that. The next thing I want to mention is today we had the opportunity to meet with our student advisory kids. And if when you look at our district motto of our children, our future, and you hear what comes out of that group of students, it's very empowering. And you have hope in the future, knowing that we're doing a great job with our kids, our community. And today we had the opportunity to invite Lynn Gaffney in. She spoke to our students about our DEIB committee and asked them to consider joining our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion and Belonging Committee. And so more information on that. She also spoke to them about the attendance committee. Oftentimes as adults, we're working on trying to solve problems or increase our student attendance, or at least their ability to be in school. And we don't always have the student at the table. And so now we're asking to have a student on that committee. And one of the things I said as Lynn was done with her presentation today with our students is that many of them, we had them go around. And this year, as you know, they had to do two things. They had to serve as a mentor, and they had to develop a project that they wanted to focus on. And many of our students want to work on belonging. They want to work on improving attendance and engagement. And so we are extremely excited that most of those kids are interested in the topics and may be joining those committees moving in the future. So we're excited about that. Additionally, and Tina will have this in her report in more detail, but one of the other things that we talked about today was student court. It was something that I asked about last year, something that was expanded on this year. And so the county has 9 seats available. So our students that are interested will be getting an application from Tina's department sent out to the high school to stress an interest in that. And then we will also be starting our own student court. And kids got to really drill holes in that today to ask questions about what that's going to look like and how that will help our students and our community. The other thing that I wanted to mention, parent-teacher conferences. As you know, we had to close school on December 12th due to inclement weather. And a notice went out via Lynn's department to our teachers, just asking them to please reach out to parents. I just wanted to talk to people so that you have an understanding of how the 180 days work. We are required to be in school 180 days. And we have so many days built in for parent-teacher conferences. The other thing that I want to mention is the end of the semester is in January. And so with the end of the semester, the timing of parent-teacher conferences is important And I will also mention that a calendar change to add a half day would be something that the board would have to act on. So with all of those constraints in place, what we did ask as our teachers to do is to please work with parents and to get those parent-teacher conferences rescheduled on the day that we had to close. And that is all that I have to say.
Okay, thank you very much. At this time, we are in need of an executive session for the purpose of discussing the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation. Can I have a motion, please?
John.
John, second. Billy, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll be back. to our regular meeting.
John.
John, second. Tully, all those in favor?
Aye.
Welcome back. I cannot believe that anybody stayed, so thank you. Okay. Number 4, items for consent agenda.
Yes, resolved that consent agenda items A, B, and C are hereby approved.
Motion, please.
John.
John, second. Lori, gotcha. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Items for board action.
Whereas the school district tax collector, the Watertown City School District, has submitted under oath that at the close of business on December 6, 2024, current school taxes and interest amounting to $10,936,845.41 have been collected by her for parcels within the city of Watertown. School taxes amounting in $4,526,200.20 plus interest of $1,186.87 have been collected by her for towns of Luray, Camellia, Rutland, and Watertown. Said date taxes and interest amounting in $857,537.29 remain uncollected and unpaid with respect to properties located within the city of Watertown, and such taxes amounting to $237,078.37 plus interest of $7,200.34 remain uncollected and unpaid with respect to properties outside the city of Watertown in the towns of Luray, Camellia, Rutland, and Watertown, amounting in all to $1,102,116. Such taxes and interest uncollected and unpaid, and whereas the board has caused said statement to be compared with the original school tax rolls, and said statement has been found to be correct. Resolved that so much of said statement as pertains to the unpaid taxes levied on real property located within the city of Watertown be transmitted with a copy of this resolution to the comptroller of the city of Watertown. And so much of said statement as pertains to the unpaid taxes levied on real property located outside the city of Watertown to be transmitted with a copy of this resolution to the treasurer of the Jefferson County. And that said of treasurers be and hereby are authorized and directed pursuant to section 1322 of the real property tax law to enforce the collection of all such uncollected and unpaid school taxes pertaining to these properties located within their respective jurisdiction, with penalties and interest provided by law, and that each of them pay over to the treasurer of the Watertown City School District at least once each month, all monies realized from such collection after retaining therefrom for the city of Watertown or for Jefferson County, as the case may be, the 5% penalty authorized by said law.
Motion, please. Billy, second. Tina, gotcha, brother. All those, any discussion?
The next one's gonna be pretty darn simple.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Whereas the Watertown City School District tax collector has submitted an affidavit stating that as of the close of business on December 6, 2024, a total of $68,344.69 in Flower Memorial Library taxes have been collected, and that $5,731.87 in taxes remain uncollected for properties within the city of Watertown, and $923.23 in taxes remain uncollected for properties in the towns of Luray, Camellia, Rutland, and Watertown, bringing the total unpaid taxes to $6,655.10, including both taxes and interest. And whereas this board has caused said statement to be compared with the original school tax rolls, and said statement has been found to be correct, resolved that so much of said statement as pertains to unpaid taxes levied on real property located within the city of Watertown be transmitted with a copy of this resolution to the comptroller of the city of Watertown. And so much of this said statement as pertains to the unpaid taxes levied on real property located outside the city of Watertown to be transmitted with a copy of this resolution to the treasurer of the Jefferson County. And that each of said treasurers be and hereby are authorized and directed pursuant to section 1322 of the real property tax law to enforce the collection of all such uncollected and unpaid school taxes pertaining to these properties located within their respective jurisdiction with penalties and interest provided by law that each of them pay over to the treasurer of the Watertown City School District at least once each month. All monies realized from such collection after retaining therefrom for the city of Watertown or for Jefferson County, as the case may be, the 5% penalty authorized be said law.
Motion, please.
John.
John, second. Lori, discussion?
Yeah, I have a question. So I think you said this, but just clarification for me. So we're supposed to give the Flower Memorial Library 75,000. We only collected 68,000. So the 6 and change that is the difference. Who's collecting that?
That goes to the city to
So the
assess,
city has to collect it for them.
similar to our taxes that we didn't collect for school district taxes.
Okay, I just want to make sure we weren't doing it. Okay. Thanks.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Jason, I will need a motion and a second to amend the personnel report to remove section D, number 1.
Okay, can I have a motion for that?
Millie?
And a second? Lori, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Get resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, Dr. Larry Schmiegel, the Board of Education hereby approves the following: resignations, leaves of absence, appointments term non-probationary instructional, appointment director, appointments literacy coordinators, appointment probationary non-instructional, appointments term non-probationary non-instructional, appointments permanent, appointment permanent part-time, appointment provisional, tutors after school, appointment Cyclone Academy, appointments STEM program, appointments substitutes instructional, appointments substitutes non-instructional.
Motion, please. Kelly, second.
Millie?
Millie, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Whereas the resolution was passed by the Board of Education on October 15th, 2024, approving a January 31, 2025 retirement date for Marie Whiteford. And be it further resolved that this amended resolution reflects the change in her retirement date to January 30th, 2025, and is hereby approved.
Can I have a motion, please?
John.
John, second.
Millie?
Millie, got you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any discussion? Okay, motion carries.
Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of Dr. Larry Schmiegel, Superintendent of Schools, the following tenure appointment is hereby approved. Aaron Demers, Special Education, effective date January 5th, 2025.
Snyder, okay. Can I have a motion, please? Kelly, second. Lori, discussion?
Probably home in bed. Said she's probably home
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved that upon the recommendation of Dr. Larry Schmiegel, Superintendent of Schools, the probationary appointment of a non-instructional employee is hereby discontinued effective December 17th, 2024.
Can I have a motion, please?
Millie?
Millie, second.
Tina?
Tina's got it. All right, I haven't heard from you tonight. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved that upon the recommendation of Dr. Larry Schmiegel, Superintendent of Schools, the probationary appointment of a non-instructional employee is hereby discontinued effective December 17th, 2024.
Can I have a motion, please?
Millie?
Millie, second.
Lori?
Lori, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved upon the recommendation of Dr. Larry C. Schmeigel, Superintendent of Schools, that Michael Halad, serving as a long-term substitute Director of Facilities 3, effective December 11th, 2024, will be compensated at a daily rate of $450 per day, effective December 11th, 2024. This rate will remain in effect until he completes his substitute role or until a permanent Director of Facilities is appointed at by the Board of Education.
Motion, please.
Melanie?
Millie, second.
John.
Discussion. None, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved that the Watertown City School District Board of Education amends the 2024-25 school calendar as follows. January 21, 2025 will be a testing day only for grades 9 through 12. Grades K through 8 will have a regularly scheduled day of instruction.
Can I have a motion, please?
John.
John, second.
Lori?
Lori, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved that the sale, disposal, auction, or recycle of an outdated, unused, and generally in poor condition Formax folding machine from the district office is hereby approved.
Can I have a motion?
John.
All right. Have them both right there. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor? You guys looking at me, I'm holding my, wait, just wait for it. Just wait for it.
Jason, who was the second on that one? Who else?
You know,
Jonathan. Okay.
so all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved that the sale, disposal, auction, or recycle of outdated, unused, and generally in poor condition audio meters from the clinics at Watertown High, Starbuck Elementary, North Elementary, and Sherman Elementary are hereby approved.
Can I have a motion? Lori, second.
Melanie?
Discussion? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved that the sale, disposal, or recycle of outdated and unused and generally in poor condition athletic uniforms, jerseys, and shorts from the athletic department are hereby approved.
Can I have a motion?
Melanie?
Millie, second. Lori. Now, this was the one I was excited about.
Yeah.
Where can we go through these?
Yeah.
That's, I've been holding.
So what I've asked, many of them are in disrepair and
Yeah.
we cannot pass out, but what I've asked our athletic director to do is have it available at the high school for kids that maybe need spirit wear that don't have it.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
this could be
yeah, thank you.
provided to them,
And potentially grown-ups.
then move to State Street.
Are you looking for a particular jersey out of
I
there?
mean, how cool, right? Like, did I play
He's saying,
sports?
Dan.
What kind of question is that? Come on.
Can't find an old-
Lori Converse, ladies and gentlemen, regular stand-up comedian. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved that generous donations have been made by the following organizations to our community, our youth event, Watertown Savings Bank, $500, FX Caprera Kia, $1,000, Sundance Leisure, $300, John Allen Sanitation Services, $300, Community Bank, $500. These donations are gratefully accepted and approved and will be acknowledged in writing.
Can I have a motion, please? Kelly, second.
Lori.
Lori, discussion.
No, I mean, it's a
You
wonderful,
always say.
it's a
thank- I just
wonderful
wanna say
event and
thank
it's
you.
nice to see
Okay.
so many businesses in our community wanting to get behind it. So obviously they have seen the value in it from last year. I think that's wonderful.
So I'd like to know who solicits these organizations, because no one's ever asked me for money.
We just kind of know.
Millie, can I have some money?
That phone number again, folks, is
So if you're interested, reach out to Matt Burdick.
Okay, but does he have students going now? Because I know
No,
like.
he is doing
Does it?
the,
Oh,
he's reaching out personally.
as if he's not listening.
To businesses he knows in the community that
He didn't ask me, yeah.
So if you're listening in and
Or
apparently we have.
there's several
Yeah.
organizations.
Yeah,
here.
there's three right here.
We have three,
Yeah, are
State
you
Street is
listening?
another one.
Yes. He is listening.
I don't know that you guys want my donations, but maybe. Oh, money, okay.
Well, if you're tuning in this evening and you're
Mike
interested,
in the back got that one. Good job, Mike.
Comes knock on your door, he's just gonna give an old basketball jersey, aren't you?
That's right, yeah. I've got a lot of things, yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, if you tuned in this evening and would like to donate money to our community, our youth event, please reach out to Matt Burdick. His email is mburdick@watertowncityschoolddistrict.org.
Okay.
All right, all those in
Because I am
favor?
tonight. Oh, did he really? Yes. Okay. Uh-oh, we're gonna get phone calls tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved that generous donations have been made by several community members to support the hygiene vending machines in the district. These donations are gratefully accepted and approved and will be acknowledged in writing.
Can I have a motion, please?
Millie.
Lori and Millie, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved that an anonymous donation of for 20 Walmart gift cards in $25 increments worth a total of $500 has been received. This donation is designated for district-wide students and families in need during the holiday season. It is gratefully accepted and approved and will be acknowledged in writing.
Can I have a motion, please?
John,
John, a second. Lori, discussion?
wonderful. Amazing.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved that the following revised Board of Education policy and regulation are hereby approved and adopted. 5,700 education records. 7,500 education records. 7,500.4 student privacy FERPA notice to reflect the records officer as the district clerk.
Motion, please. Lori, second.
Tina.
Tina, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any discussion? Sorry. Okay. Motion carries.
Resolved that the student trips as presented to the board are hereby approved.
Can I have a motion, please?
John,
John and Kelly. Any discussion? All those in favor?
aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Yep. Susan, if you could please rise.
Hand over your heart.
Resolved that upon the recommendation of Dr. Larry Schmiegel, Superintendent of Schools, the appointment of Susan Nedza as K-12 principal in the district is hereby approved.
Can I have a motion, please?
John,
John, a second.
Millie.
Lori, got you. All those in favor?
aye.
Any opposed? Welcome to the district.
Kelsey, if you can please rise.
Resolved that upon the recommendation of Dr. Larry Schmiegel, Superintendent of Schools, the appointment of Kelsey Shepis as K-12 assistant principal in the district is hereby approved.
Okay, can I have a motion, please? Kelly, second.
Millie.
Really got you that time. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Welcome to the district.
Whereas the board has reviewed the terms and conditions of the agreement as set forth in the document, and whereas the board finds that the terms of the agreement are in the best interest of the school district and that approval of the agreement is necessary to resolve all matters between the parties in a manner that is fair and equitable to the both parties. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Watertown City School District hereby approves the separation agreement and release as presented and authorizes Dr. Larry C. Schmiegel to execute the agreement on behalf of the board and to take any necessary actions to effectuate the terms of the agreement. Be it further resolved that the board directs the superintendent to ensure that all necessary documentation is completed and filed in accordance with applicable laws and regulations, and that all payments and benefits due under the agreement be processed promptly. Be it further resolved that this resolution take effect immediately upon its adoption.
Motion, please.
John.
Lori and John, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
That is the end of the resolutions.
All right. Anyone in attendance tonight wishing to address the board on non-agenda related public comments? Kristen? Okay.
I just wanted to recognize a couple things tonight. First off, with the personnel report, I was really excited to see some familiar names of individuals who are lending themselves to the Cyclone Academy. It's been really exciting to watch this form. I continue to hear great positive updates on this creative initiative that impacts a specific group of students. So just really great educators and supports that I would hope would be involved for them to be popping up on these lists. So I look forward to hearing about the outcome of that. And then also, as far as impact, I wanted to offer personally a highlight or applause to Kevin Durr. And I recently caught the post about the new bowling team and their fancy fresh jerseys. There's a lot of bowling teams for schools in the area, so it's nice to see Watertown has joined those ranks. My son actually joined the bowling club last year. Actually, Kevin saw him out bowling on his personal time and recruited a couple of his friends. And so to see the change from last year to this year is really exciting as well. It's nice to have that alternative to the standard clubs, activities, and other sports offering, something to diversify what we have going on. Also exciting to watch where the esports and the gaming clubs advance to. Still with Kevin Durr. Just it's something different for students to connect, collaborate, unwind, build skills, and just have fun. So I'm excited to see all of that forming. And just wanted to, as a community member, recognize and appreciate those efforts. And then also, I'm excited to hear that there are students potentially joining the DEIB. That is something that I have been hoping for quite some time. So that was a great highlight to hear this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kristen, thank you so much. Anybody else this evening? Okay. Some important upcoming dates: Monday, December 23rd to January 1st is our holiday recess. There is no school, so please do not report. Thursday, January 2nd, pre-K through 12 school resumes. Tuesday, the 7th, we have our FAF committee meeting at 5 p.m. at the district office, followed by our regular Board of Education meeting at 6. Randy, start us off tonight.
Sure, I have Watertown High School. I always think when Mrs. Atkinson's here, she could read this better than I could, but I'll give it a try. Update from Watertown High School. Watertown High School is in the countdown to the holidays. Last evening, our entire Watertown community enjoyed a delightful holiday concert featuring the WHS Mixed Choir, Concert Choir, Treble Choir, Select Choir, Freshman Band, Concert Band, and Wind Ensemble. Tomorrow, Select Choir will visit North Elementary, Newland Rotary, and Wiley School to spread seasonal cheer. And on Friday, the Wind Ensemble will perform at Ohio Elementary. On Thursday, 16 beautiful baskets will be awarded to the lucky winners of our annual holiday basket raffle. Created by the WHS faculty, the baskets full of gift cards, movie passes, candy, and more will be presented to the students who have earned PBIS Pride Passes and entered them to win. The winners will be featured on the morning announcements. Everyone at Watertown High School wishes our students, families, and Board of Education a joyous holiday season and very happy new year. Leslie Atkinson. How'd I do? Okay? Thanks. Just want to thank Sherman. This is my alma mater, so it's always nice to come back here. Yes. And just share these same sentiments with my colleagues, the community, and all of you here. Merry Christmas and best for 2025.
Randy, do you mind if we add something here since you mentioned Sherman? You want to update everyone, Gretchen, on the rescheduled date of your concert, your holiday concert?
Our holiday concert is rescheduled for tomorrow evening at the high school at 6 p.m.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Gozier.
I will stay with a Sherman theme. I might as well want to thank the PTA. That was probably the best cup of hot chocolate I've ever had. Thank 'em for that. No, Sherman does hold a special place in my heart. Both my kids went through Sherman, and so I'm familiar with all the wonderful things that Sherman offers and the staff. And it's really makes me happy to see that all that continues and Sherman continues to grow. And the kids feel the same way about the staff and the teachers and their leadership as they did back then. So it really is touching the ones at heart. I wanted also to say the parade that we did a couple weeks ago was fun, a little chilly, not as bad as it could have been. And I think that there was less people in attendance because all the kids were actually walking in the parade with us. It was great, and I think everyone had a great time. I attended Wiley concert, their music concert, and that was wonderful. And then to close it off, just a congratulations to Mike Morgan, who was awarded a scholarship, which allowed him to attend an athletic directors conference in Texas recently. That's it for me. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Lori.
I just want to say thank you for bringing us here to Sherman and for the gifts. You did a great job, and I hope your first year here is going well. I just want to say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody and to all of you. And that's it. And the parade is fun. I'm glad that I have a Christmas party because of the snow to hang out with you guys.
Tina, what you got?
Not much. I had the pleasure today of wrapping gifts at Case.
Oh.
And if any,
at my house.
I don't want to. I told the kids, so anybody listening, that if anybody asked them who wrapped their presents, it was an old blind lady who wrapped their gifts. It gets me back into the school so that I can see my kids because they're all my kids, and that's what fills my heart. So any excuse anybody wants to send me an email that you're doing in your schools, please let me know, because I'd be happy to come. Anybody doing anything in their schools, please let me know. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody. I hope everybody has a safe and healthy 2026.
Bye.
And 26.
Yeah.
26.
I'd be 1 year closer.
The lifesaver over there, he's always got my back.
John Kane.
Millie just called me old.
I did not. I said, you don't look that old.
There is an update from North. Jason, you didn't get it because I just got it.
Dear Jason?
No, it does not.
Dear
I got another Dear John letter. Students and families made donations to Meals on Wheels of gift baskets. And there's no competitive streak in the Kane family. North is working hard on Trek to the North Pole and plans on winning. So the gauntlet, there's only what, a day or two left? When are they counting up the month? 3 days. Goes to Friday? Okay. So the gauntlet's been thrown down. Mrs. Monnet and your PTA, what a wonderful experience. It's always a pleasure coming to Sherman and to see your teachers, your students, your PTA all interacting to bring everything together tonight. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. That's the way our schools should be working. And I know that our parent teacher organizations across our district work really hard. So not to discredit any of those other parent teacher organizations because they all do amazing things for our districts. And I've seen it firsthand, and your group was amazing tonight. So thank you for hosting us tonight. To Mrs. Johnson and Mrs. O'Brien and their 5th grade students to come in when it's not even your school
Yeah.
and to present. thanks Lynn for having them come in. I appreciated hearing from them and being able to experience what they're doing. I was able to drop in, well, my kids are in it. So the case music program for the holidays and the Watertown High School program for the holidays. And I saw Dr. Schmiegel in the back last night. It is such a pleasure to see our music program and how our kids grow. And I think it was even better seeing it in the order I did, seeing Case first and then, the freshman band and the freshman chorus, and then the high schoolers, absolutely rocking on that stage last night. So just phenomenal. So kudos to them and all of their directors. It's just, it was wonderful. It was beautiful. And to everybody, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and have a great start to the new year.
Thank you. Millie.
Okay, so I have a few things. So I'll start with Lynn, since no one talked about her very important presentation. I can tell you spent a lot of time with that. I just want to tell you that I admire your optimism. I mean, these scores are not what any of us want for our school district, but the fact that you have been proactive in initiating a plan of correction is very encouraging. You came up with the literacy trainers, or what are they called?
The literacy coordinators.
Coordinators, which are, very good teachers. So I want to commend you for that. I think that's a great thing that you're doing. Specifically because one of the trends that I noticed, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but just visually on the numbers, it seemed to me like the higher you went up on the grades, the proficiencies got lower. And I think, to me, can only speculate, again, what I keep saying is that we have to start at the elementary level and really build that base up and that foundation for our students. I don't know if a lot of people know, but if you're not really reading at your grade level by fourth grade, you're really behind the ball. So I'm very excited about the fact that you're thinking about that and you're implementing the program. So thank you for sharing those numbers. That is not an easy thing to do. I mean, we all want to see great numbers, but it's very difficult to do that. So I appreciate you doing that. And I don't think you know this, but I'm really curious to see what is the number of eighth grade students that are taking that math algebra regents. I mean, because that was like 100%.
I can get the number.
Yeah, I would love to see how many of those kids are actually taking that region and scoring and have 100% proficiency. I think it's impressive. I think it'd be nice to look at that core group of kids and see what happened. Like, what was their trajectory into being 100% proficient? Because if we have those kids, then there's a model there, and we should be looking at that. So I just wanted to point that out. I wanted to just point of clarification, Dr. Schmiegel, when you talked about the parent-teacher conferences, so has it been a directive from the district that the teachers are doing reschedule parent-teacher conferences with the parents? Is it like an elective thing? Is it going to be?
So what we've asked Lynn, I had asked Lynn to email the instructors in our district to try to unless we were to close school or have an early release day, to try to work around the time that's built into the day. I will say a lot of our educators did that on their own. But one of the things that I do want to enunciate, and I think I said it earlier, if not, I forgot, is that at any point in time, if a parent wants to meet with their child's teacher, they have a right to reach out to the teacher and say, I'd like to meet, I'm concerned. So it doesn't just, because oftentimes parents believe that they only have to happen during parent-teacher conferences, but at any time, a parent can reach out to schedule those meetings. But yes, teachers were asked to reach out to parents and try to reschedule them. I know I was one of those parents. My child's parent-teacher conferences based on the school closure and weather. I missed both of those parent-teacher conferences.
Yeah, but I'm glad to hear that, because I think from the few phone calls that I got, parents kind of wait for that parent-teacher conference to see where their kid is at, so that they can get some hard data on where to go moving forward. So I think that those parent-teacher conferences are critical to a lot of parents. So if we're still making that available, I think we need to let families know that, because somehow it was messaged out there that teachers are not going to be doing that. So we really need to let parents know that, we are holding that at high priority. And if you want to have a parent-teacher conference, that you can do that. I think that's very important for parents to have that stream of communication. The Christmas parade was amazing. The thing that I loved about the Christmas parade, besides the fact that Lori almost got her car beat up, banged up, and was still nice and smiling when they're gonna hit her car. I'm sitting with her and she's like, oh my God, you're gonna hit. I'm like, beat the horn. She's like, She's literally the nicest person I know. You was, you were still nice up until that point. I would have been out the window and saying a lot of nice things. But anyway, with the kids singing and the teacher singing and it
And
was.
we had Brianne on the float waving.
Yes, and you were coordinating, and poor Mike is trying to catch up with the flow, because if he's not close enough, we can't get the music on the speaker. A couple of times it went dead, but it was just so nice, and it was cold, but it was so nice to be.
Except for Lynn.
What?
Lynn was overheating.
Oh, well, you were smarter than most of us, but.
Put on my Christmas list, by the way.
But the best part about the parade was the Grinch.
Who was that guy?
I don't know.
I heard he was really hot though.
No idea, but let me tell you, he was a treat.
Yeah.
I thought it was cold out there.
He meant temperatures. It's not inside the.
Oh.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Inside his skirt.
That's what I meant.
So Jason, kudos that you actually, you really did take the lead on that. You really wanted
I
us
know, I
all
just
there.
should have shown up.
It was just amazing. It was really nice to spend that kind of time, together. So I just want to wish everyone a happy new year, Merry Christmas. Everyone welcome aboard. Gretchen, I just want to tell you, I don't have any kids in the school district, but I do work at the urgent care. So I always make a habit when kids come in, I always say to them, so what school do you go to? And I can tell you that just repeatedly, when the kids come in and say, I go to Sherman, and my next question is, oh, do you like it? Do you like it there? Do you like your teacher? Just to make conversation. And they love this school. So I think just based on that secondhand information that you're doing a wonderful job. You had big shoes to fill, big shoes to fill. So the fact that, the kids like you and parents are saying nice things about Sherman is a testament to how hard you're working in connecting with this family, which I think is very important in our community. So thank you for all that you're doing. And that's all I have.
Thanks, Phil.
You're welcome.
All right, I have a update first from Matt Burdick. And it says, hello, Jason, because it's to me. No donations. I reread it twice. Yeah. It says this board meeting, I want to recognize our district leaders, Dr. Schmiegel, Tina Lane, Lynn Gaffney, and Brianne Durham. I guess he accidentally omitted me. Having the privilege to work alongside them, I witnessed firsthand the incredible dedication, passion, and effort they put into their roles every day. Their commitment to our district is truly inspiring, and I am so grateful for their hard work. To everyone tuning into tonight's meeting, whether you're a parent or guardian, student, teacher, or staff member, I encourage you all to take a moment this week to thank these leaders for all they do to support our schools. He has 3 updates from his office. The first is the annual review meetings, and he says after Christmas break, Shannon Whitney and Jody Delaney will begin annual review meetings for students with disabilities and students with 504 plans. These meetings will take place across all our schools, with hundreds scheduled in the coming months. Second is regarding Cyclone Academy staffing. Matt writes, we are working diligently to secure quality teachers for semester 2 of Cyclone Academy. After the break, the executive team will finalize plans for the Cyclone Academy Assembly to ensure we are prepared for semester 2, which begins at the end of January. Final update is from professional development for staff. And Matt says, I am collaborating with building principals and Krista Wargo to explore ways to provide additional training for our aides, teaching assistants, and teachers. We are looking for ways to equip staff with the tools they need to support students with behavioral challenges. Plans for additional professional development using our vector training solution sessions will be rolled out in coming months. Finally, I would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Matt Burdick. I appreciate the praise on the idea for the parade, but that's all that it was. And I have a lot of weird ideas. That one just kind of came up. And it was great that everybody showed up. I couldn't believe I looked around and to have everybody rally behind it. And for you to get people, I'm not sure I've ever given you, this is like my first compliment up here. To get everybody involved in that. And Mike to have the trailer over there and go over on his personal time at night and decorate it, and it was just beautiful. And I can tell you, I'm already starting to think 12 months in advance that we're gonna make it bigger. Cause I was just so excited. I've gone to those parades for years and I thought we needed to represent, and that's what we did. And once in a while you make memories that stay with you for your whole life. And for me, it was being towed through the city after it was all done with Mike sitting on the trailer, and I was in a Grinch costume and we were listening to the Christmas Vacation soundtrack. And it was just one of those surreal, and kids were knocking on the window and we were waving. It was a really beautiful moment. So everybody who participated, that was awesome. And we're gonna do it again, and we're gonna do it bigger. Lynn, I'm gonna piggyback off of what Millie said, and I'm glad you brought it up. The thing that struck me was that you didn't hide from any of that. And that takes a lot of courage. And if it was me, I would have found some way to make it look great. And I think sometimes you just have to say, this is where it is, and this is where we're going. And I have every confidence that we have the right person to get us there. So keep your head up. Finally, well, not finally, I'll say Merry Christmas to everybody and happy holidays. I think that we had a great year. When we review, everybody at this table worked very hard, and the coming year is gonna be the same thing. And the last thing that I want to say is, Lori, I played sports. Like, that really bothered me, you know. I'm gonna go home and send you pictures from my yearbooks. And I can't believe that you didn't know that about me. So anyway, with that. Oh, I played a lot. With that, we'll see you after the first of the year. Be safe.